Thank you, Mr. Julian. Ms. Ferreri, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple of points about the amendment. I can't support this amendment, obviously, because number one, I'm not sure why we would remove Paul Bernardo from the motion. As we've heard, we have these letters submitted to the committee, March 9th, 2024. I'm writing today to request and encourage you to undertake a study of the reclassification and transfer of Luca Magnotta and other federal offenders at the emergency meeting called on Monday, March 11th, 2024. I, along with Tennille Chwalslik and Laura Murray, are willing to be witnesses and are available Wednesday through Friday, as well as whenever needed in the future. So I think the other point I think is which is very, very bizarre, I think, for people watching at home, is why the Liberals are bringing up what happened, 10, 15 years ago. What we're talking about is right now. What we're talking about is the most sadistic killer in Canadian history. So I think it just doesn't make any sense. And how, again, back to the point of this motion and the amendment that was put forward by the Bloc, they want to push it down to one meeting. How in the world are you going to solve how and why this happened when we know the minister's office was notified 7 times? So one meeting is certainly not enough. To Mr. Julian's point about wasting taxpayer dollars and public safety, under this coalition that he has with the Liberals, sexual assaults are up 72%. Domestic violence is an epidemic in this country. So if you want to talk about public safety, we can certainly do that. It's never been worse. People have never felt more unsafe under this Trudeau government. In terms of taxpayer dollars, we can also delve into that greatly if he would like, in terms of what he's done with the Liberal government, in terms of we're servicing more debt than we are to health transfers because of their overspending and wasteful spending and corruption. And also we have a clerk and staff that work here regardless of whether we're here or not.
Mr. Julian?
Point of order. None of this is relevant, and I believe this is a filibuster. I do think it's important that we get to a vote in the next half hour prior to the committee meeting ending.
Mr. Julian, Ms. Ferreri, please.
And thank you to Mr. Julian for supporting this motion of not supporting Ms. Michaud's amendment. I do thank him for that, because what this amendment is doing is absolutely gutting the whole point of victims' rights. And I can't stress that enough when we have this opportunity here, and to call it political theater for the victims watching at home. This isn't theater, this is their life. To my Liberal member across the way, this is not political theater, it's their life.
Then stop treating it like political theater, Ms. Ferreri. Oh, thank you.
Are you for real? You literally just said if this was your family that you would do this.
Excuse me.
Through you, Mr. Chair.
Please, the interpreters, let's respect them. So go ahead, Ms. Ferreri.
I just think it's bizarre to call. We are literally translating what victims want. We are literally reading verbatim what they have asked us to do. That is what we were elected to do. I'm not sure how you can call that political theater. It makes no sense. And you can smirk through you, Mr. Chair. He's smirking. If he can explain to me how that is political theater, I would love to hear that. In the meantime, I turn it back over that we must.
Mr. Chair, can I respond to the question just posed by Ms. Ferreri? She asked me to respond, so I can respond if she'd like to.
Very quickly, Mr. Shefke, please.
Point of order.
So let's go to 291 transfers in 2012, 2013. Many of whom were murderers and rapists. Where was your outrage then? Where was Stephen Harper's outrage then? Where was your Conservative outrage when the 2 years with the largest numbers of transfers occurred? Where was your outrage? That's my facts, Ms. Ferreri.
Hold on, please. Yes. Point of order, Mr. Caputo. Please keep it on topic.
There is a speaking list. My colleague, Ms. Ferreri, was speaking. It is utter hypocrisy for the Liberal member across the way to say that we shouldn't engage in political theater when he cuts off my colleague who is speaking and then demands to respond. He will have due time to respond to the victims and other Canadians. Thank you.
I was given the floor, Mr. Caputo, by the chair.
Okay, that's it. Ms. Ferreri, can you continue, please?
Listen, I'm not even going to credit that with a response because it's whack-a-mole. I mean, I was in grade 8 or whatever grade I was, and it doesn't even make any sense what he's asking me in terms of my position. But what I can tell you right now is my position is I remember being 15 years old when Paul Bernardo was a Scarborough rapist. And every woman my age at 45 years old knows this. And to the point that I brought up already, the judge who sentenced him said he will never be rehabilitated. He was transferred in the dead of night. And to Ms. Michaud's point about this happened in 2022, why are we talking about it now? Because nobody knew. That is gross incompetence on this government's point. That should be even more concerning to anyone else. How did this happen and why? That is the point of this motion. If you want to stop this from happening again, you have to study it and you have to bring forward these people, and in particular the victims. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we're going to move on.